Good evening and welcome. Hello there, my friends, all around the world. Well, I suspect uh, if things are as they usually are, then you probably are in different parts of the world. Anyway, a very good evening. Welcome to Live Irish Myths. I'm your host, Anthony Murphy. Welcome to the Mythical Ireland Library. This is episode number 292. Tonight we return to the theme of religion in early Ireland, and we're dealing specifically with monasteries, holy wells, and holy bells, as you may have seen from this evening's graphic. Hope you're all keeping well. Just as we speak, there is a red sky, having been cloudy all day. It's typical, it's like there is such a fabulous sky out there. I mean, if I was at Cheatham Broger right now with the camera at Newgrange, I no doubt I'd be capturing some extraordinarily beautiful views. But no, here I am stuck with you. It's your fault. Yeah, grey and cloudy all day long. And at the last moment, just as the sun's about to hit the deck, a gap in the clouds and a lovely display by nature. And we've got to say hello to a few people before we get motoring on with this evening's episode proper. And first to comment, quite unsurprisingly, is Elaine Dentelingenfelter. And she's enjoying the cooler weather by Texas standards. It's only 83 Fahrenheit there today. In European money, that's 28 Celsius. Wow. And that's probably hotter than it's been here all summer, Elaine. So there you go. Cool by your standards. Hot by ours. And I hope you're keeping well. Wayne Bird says, good evening, Anthony. Hello, everyone. It's been rather cloudy over here. Really bad for stargazing. The only consolation is the weather is getting better. Yeah. We've had mixed. We had one very clear night last week at some point, and it was lovely. But where it has been clear, it's been hazy. It's been difficult to see the fainter stars. A lot of evenings, late evenings, very difficult to see even the Pleiades. The Seven Sisters. So yeah, fingers crossed that it improves. Exit 101 says, Tuesday Thompson is wishing us all a happy Mythology Monday. Thank you, Tuesday. Hope you're in good form. And Exit 101 tells us, I live close to an early monastery. I wonder which one. Tell us, come on. Don't leave us in suspense. Helen Hirsch Chader says, greetings, Anthony and friends. Yes, indeed. Are you saying I'm not a friend? I know what you mean, Helen, but welcome, and I hope you're in good form. Mariana Dunn is saying, Bannockty from sunny Alexandria, Virginia. Happy Labor Day to those celebrating it. Yes, indeed. And if you are celebrating it, happy Labor Day to you. We don't have a Labor Day. We don't have it on this day. Is there a Labor Day in Ireland? Can't even answer that. May Day, of course, is the annual celebration of the achievements of workers. Next year, it's on the 5th of May, which I think is astronomical Bealtaine, or very close to it. And yes, Elaine adding in happy Labor Day to those who celebrate. Richard Burgess is saying hello, all from upstate New York, where it's a beautiful 72 Fahrenheit. And let's translate that into Celsius. That's 22.2222. All the twos from Richard Burgess 22. Interesting. Time to do the lottery, I think, Richard. Joe Butler is saying Karen, Desiree, Lexi, Rowan, and Joe are together having lunch and Mythflix. Wow, what a gathering! What a coming together of reprobates. Of course, I am joking. Well, hello, Karen and Desiree and Lexi and Rowan and Joe. Hope you're having a fab time. I'd love to be a fly on the wall. Maybe I wouldn't, actually. Debbie Sheehy says, good evening, Anthony and the two. I'm glad to be here on a grey, cloudy and wet day in Dublin. Yeah, it's not wet here. And, of course, the red sky is fading now as soon as I mention it. No rain here. We had rain this morning. Lily Shambles says, boo. Boo to you too, Lily. Sally Siggins is saying hello from Sligo, just in from a walk with a dog across the recently cut barley fields. Yeah, the spring crops, of course, a lot of them were planted late this year, which means they're being harvested late. Late end to the harvest this year in Ireland. And Scott Doherty says, greetings to all and welcome to any newcomers. Yes, indeed, a special welcome to the newcomers. What's in a Plant is saying hello from sunny San Francisco, California, USA. Speaking of newcomers, I'm not sure if we've seen you before. What's in a Plant? You're very welcome. And watching on YouTube, please do remember to subscribe to the Mythical Ireland YouTube channel, because not only will you be notified of our live streams, but of course of any future video uploads. But I hope you're in good form in San Fran. Bangor Abbey, County Down. Okay. Bangor. Yes. What is Bangor's claim to fame? There's something founded by St. Covgall in the 6th century, but there's something about Bangor that makes it important. Something that happened there, or was there something written there? Was there a synod there or something? Maybe you'll fill me in. Barb Jordan says, hi everyone. Hi Barb. Susan Scott says, hello to all from Northwest Connecticut, 61 degrees and sunny. A delightful day after so many 100 plus days this summer. Looking forward to a beautiful autumn now. Well, I hope you get it. We are 16 Celsius. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is here right now in Dublin Airport. It is 13 Celsius, actually cooler than I thought. There you go. And yeah, we're supposedly going to have a week or so of nice weather because of a high pressure system coming in from the Atlantic. Karen O'Loughlin says, greetings from Darcy's with the girls. I'll tell you, maybe I would like to be a fly on the wall just to make sure you're all behaving yourselves. Wish all the two was with us to enjoy the episode and adult beverages. What is an adult beverage? Is that wine, whiskey, Guinness? Fill in the blanks. Yes, 6 of us can now talk together, then comment. Hello, everyone else. Come on, rabbit holes. Sounds fascinating. Elaine is wishing she was there. Yeah, the long drive from Texas up to... Are you all in... You probably told me where you were, and I've forgotten already. Are you all in Colorado? Let me just zoom back to... Yeah, it doesn't say, but is it Denver? Is it somewhere in Colorado ye all are? Maybe you tell me when you get a minute. Fascinating. We should have given you the camera and let you run the episode. That would have been funny and exciting and interesting and full of rabbit holes, of course. Well, the first rabbit hole today is this. This is an oversized, enlarged printout of the new edition of Land of the Ever-Living Ones. Going to print this week. Land of the Ever-Living Ones is a short novel, or a novella if you prefer. It was first published in 2013. And my first foray into fiction, but fiction, of course, entirely inspired by ancient Ireland. And I'm bringing it back out published in physical book form, because for a while now it has been available as a digital edition, a PDF download. But now I'm bringing it back. He's bringing it back. So I'm just going to post the link where you can pre-order. All going well. I did a fairly detailed proof today. And, it is pretty much ready to go. If you're a patron, of course, you'll have seen the cover. If you're a Bronze Age patron, you'd have seen the whole cover. The front cover, the flap, the spine, the back cover, and the back flap. Nice compact little book it's going to be. And if you like fiction and you like a quick read, it's the sort of thing that would take you 2 or 3 hours to read. You'll have it read in no time. It's a day. It's the sort of thing that it's a short read, so it's meant you could probably do it in one sitting, and that's probably the way you probably would end up doing it. Adina Sparks is saying, afternoon, Anthony and the two. I hope everyone is well. It's a sunny, warm day here in New Mexico. I've been thumbing through my new books. Excited to start reading them. They're great, Anthony. Brilliant stuff, Adina. Glad that they got there safely. And I hope that you enjoy them immensely, as I'm sure you will. Johnny Wilson is in Dallas, Texas, where he's sending us a big hello. From where he's sending us a big hello. Johnny, 5 or 6 hours behind us now, not in our time zone as he was for a while. Brendan Byrne is in a very wet Glendalough saying, hi, is it really raining elsewhere? Because it's not raining here. Is it on its way? Seems to be a little bit around the East Coast, all right. Dublin mainly, and a little bit in Wicklow. And no rain anywhere else, apparently. Brendan, I'm sorry, what can I say? But, what I can say is Glendalough is beautiful in all weathers. It's 6th century, says Exit 101. They found the Bangor Bell in a cave along with Viking swords. Recently qualified as a new city. Brilliant stuff. Wow, sounds fascinating. Patricia Caviccioli is saying hi from Spain. Well, hello, Viva España, and a very, very good evening to our friends in the land of the Milesians, from where they came when they came to take Ireland from the Tuatha De Danann. Lexi Erickson just ordered The Land of the Ever-Living Ones. The cover is gorgeous. Can't wait. Plus, need to add a green t-shirt, please. Can't disagree. Brilliant. Hopefully that won't take long to print. Steve Martinson is in southern Wisconsin, from where he is saying hello, and we're saying hello right back to you, Steve. Hope you're in good form. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is fun, says Barbara. 3 Guinnesses, wine, hard cider, and Karen is still deciding which. You can see I'm drinking cider. Yes, I can clearly see that, Barbara. Yes, with my camera looking both ways. Yes. Yes, so apparently they are in Denver. There you go. I'm off to work at a castle from Thursday for 2 months, Anthony. Not sure how I'm going to switch my head from prehistory to medieval/post-medieval. I'll have to try and weave myths into the castle history. That's an interesting challenge, Sally. And of course, the reason for that, in case anybody does not know, Sally is the chief guide at Carrowmore, the megalithic cemetery in Sligo, very close to Sligo town, which is now officially closed for the winter because they're doing some renovations. Hopefully you get a brand spanking new office, Sally, when it reopens. And looking forward to seeing that sometime next year, hopefully early in the season, Ninky Stratton is saying, hello all, hope you're well. Hello and good evening to you, Ninky. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. Hope you are in good form. Peter Kennedy says, greetings from Ballybrigeen. Looking forward to getting the Fornox book. Yes. And if I'm not mistaken, Peter, your order was dispatched today. Oh, all going well, it might arrive tomorrow. Fingers crossed. I flew up, or I would have grabbed you on my way north for this lunch, says Barbara. I think that's talking to Edina. You could have stopped in Dublin and grabbed a few of us as well. John Main is saying, good to see you all. Happy Labour Day to all the US viewers. Hello, John. Hope you're in good form. Great to see you. And hope you are keeping the good side out as you always do. The full Irish Gary says, Trinonawak, good evening, great and good tour from South Dublin. Another fine, in brackets, wet day on the sod. Yeah, seems to be confined almost completely to Dublin at this point. We are having numerous Guinnesses. We are having many Guinnessy. What is the plural? That is the plural of Guinnesses, right? Guinnessy. That's a good question. Guinnesses, I would have said, but I'm certainly not an expert. Lily Shambles wants to know if anyone wants to adopt a few adult children. Well, I've already adopted a whole classroom full of them. What do you want me to do? Alva Kelly says to Nonoa, it's going to be a cozy autumn with Irish myths on Monday evenings. Yeah, and we are reminded the fact that the sun was going down at the beginning of the episode means that we're very quickly going to be in that time of year when it's going to be dark throughout the episodes. Oh, I mean, chair. Okay, Anthony, fix the chair so it doesn't fall back. Yeah, it doesn't seem that long ago, and it isn't, because it was in the middle of June when in the episode in the evening, just that time of year at midsummer for a few weeks either side of midsummer, the sun is able to come all the way around and shine directly onto the camera lens in through the window. Well, that hasn't happened in a while, and it ain't going to be happening in a long while now. So We have to make do with what we have, which is what we did all along anyway, you know. Gunny, yes. Can I have a clatter? Or Sally says a clatter of Guinnesses. A clatter of Guinness. Well, they do certainly make a clatter when you bring all the glasses together. After a few, says Brendan, you can call them whatever you like. Bumpity bump. There is no plural of Guinness, as in I had 10 pints of Guinness. Yeah, that's what I would have said. I'm with John on this one. There is no official plural word for Guinness, like Guinness-I or anything convoluted like that. Guinness is Guinness. Anyway, as I said, Land of the Ever-Living One's going to print maybe tomorrow. The second of a series of publications in the planning. I suppose I could possibly do a single cover reveal, because I already gave it. I already allowed the patrons to see it. Only 10, lol. Anne McCallum says, hello, Anton and all the mighty two. I hope everyone's in fine fettle. A very happy Labour Day to all Canadians and Americans in the house. We're having a lovely, sunny, cool, you call 22 cool. We had 16 today, and that was cool. Such a relief from the heat and humidity. Wow. All you Canadians and Americans boasting about, a cool 20-something degrees. We're all going, my God, that'd be a hot day here, So just the cover on its own, I can, but you're gonna have to give me a sec. Oh my God, he's at it already. Apologies. Can I now is the next question. Background? No, I don't want a background. Overlay? Sure, we'll try an overlay. I'm sure you can have a quick look. Land of the Ever-Living Ones 2024. Front cover. Uploading. Please wait. No. Yeah, you're not seeing it the way I would like you to see it. Okay. That didn't work. What else can I do? Color, background, logo. No, I don't want a logo maker. I want... Stop yawning. That's exactly what I want to do. Okay, let's try a different approach here. This is taking forever. Talk about an enormous rabbit hole, for which again I apologize. There we go. Now, can I share that screen? Let me. How do I share? Slides? Screen. I want to share a screen. Window. That one. Loading. One moment, please, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fingers crossed. Hey! There you go. Land of the Ever-Living Ones. A lovely conversation between a Chandri, a wise old man, and a young boy, exploring all sorts of things, but the meaning of life and the other world being a big feature of that. Anyway, I hope that when you order and / receive said book, that you will enjoy it. Just a quick link to, if you want to read some Amazon reviews, 83% 5-star ratings. Yes, there's a 7% 1-star, unfortunately. But you can actually read some reviews on Amazon, and I will share that link so that you can read for yourself what other people are thinking about that lovely little book. Did we actually have a day over 20 Celsius? Well, we did here in Drogheda. We had a couple of 21, 22. I think we might have even reached 23 at one point in the not too distant past either. Sun is starting to slide behind our mountain as the year passes. We'll soon be living in the shadows. It will return next spring. Well, I'm just impressed, Brendan, not least by the fact that you live in Glendalough, but the fact that you own a mountain. That's impressive. Brendan owns a mountain. Look, he says the sun is starting to slide behind our mountain. It's theirs. It's his. He owns it. Yeah, it beats those 30 to 40 Celsius we had, says Elaine. Yeah, I'm not arguing with that. Definitely, definitely. Sally, part of it looks good. Presumably commenting on the first attempt to show you the cover, which was unsuccessful. Temp 22 feels like 27. Yeah. And the other thing is that the design work is now complete. You'll be glad to hear on the 2025 Mythical Ireland calendar. And again, if you're a patron, at what level did I share that? Not sure. But if you're a patron, you may have seen all of the pictures that I've chosen for it. Patrons get the first view of that. But if you are interested in ordering your 2025 calendar, that will go to print within a month, as usual. Nearly always published in early to mid-October and distributed accordingly. Also, when you're on the page to look at possibly ordering the calendar, read the reviews. There's quite a few reviews of the calendar there. Previous calendars, of course, which may or may not help you make up your mind as to whether you want to get one or more. Judy McQueen is in the house. Hello there, Judy. Good evening from Ireland. Middle England weather today, grey, which is standard for England, a tad drizzly, and then it hoyed it down for about half an hour. Yeah. Our weather today was what we would say here is meh, grey. It was raining this morning. Didn't rain then most of the day, but it was just very grey. Anyway, we're back to talking about religion, learning, and art. And of course, reading from the wonderful A Social History of Ancient Ireland, treating of the government, military, system and law, religion, learning and art, trades, industry and commerce, manners, customs, and domestic life of the ancient Irish people by Patrick Weston Joyce. And this is from volume 1, and this was originally published in 1903, 121 years ago. Wow. Only cottage on the mountain. Squatter's right, says Brendan. There you go. If not, why not? My parents went there for their honeymoon, says Exit 101. Went where? Glendalough. Or over to the big beer fest they're having in Denver right now. Stephanie Madsen says, hello everyone from Austin, Texas. Finally in the upper 80s here. I can't believe that it hasn't been close to 100 there at certain times. No way. Although Texas is huge, isn't it? It can be like really hot in one part and not so hot in another. We forget that Texas is as big as France. It's probably bigger, is it? Mavanwy has joined us. Good evening to. I'm very sorry to miss last week's episode. I was deep in the brambles in mid-Wales doing a bit of extreme gardening over the bank holiday. Looking forward to hearing more of Joyce. I'll grab my copy now. Brilliant stuff. And you can make sure that I'm on the straight and narrow, Mavanwy, and don't make any mistakes. We're starting on page 364. With the little cross-heading that says Monastic Lish or Rampart. An Irish monastery, including the whole group of monastic buildings, was generally enclosed by a strong rampart, commonly circular or oval, according to the fashion of the country in the lay homesteads. And this is interesting because of the fact because of the fact that it is a feature that has been studied by archaeologists in recent decades. That is what we call the ecclesiastical enclosure. Texas is 8 times the size of Ireland, says Generality. Wow, 'tis big. Hi, Movanwe. We've all been wishing you were with us. 6 crazy myth flixers together. Is there any other kind of myth flixer? I mean, if you watch regularly, I think there has to be something wrong with you, you know? Yes, indeed. Lexi also adding to that sentiment. Wish you were with us in Denver. The rampart was designed by one of the usual Irish names. Sorry, was designated by one of the usual Irish names, Ra, R-A-T-H, or Lish, or if in stone, Cashel, and sometimes Cahir, C-A-T-H-A-I-R. We are told in the tripartite life that St. Patrick marked out the enclosure of his group of buildings at Armagh with his crozier, the staff of Jesus. That was the one, I think, I'm pretty sure, called Bachal Ishu. B-A-C-H-A-L. Was there two L's or one? I wrote about that, I thought, on the website, but obviously not. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, slight rabbit hole there. I'll continue reading. This very rampart, or one like it, was retained for many centuries is proved by the fact that the Four Masters, as in the annals of the Four Masters, notice the, quote, wrath of Ardmacha, quote, at the years 1020, 1091, and 1092. Fascinating stuff. The Valum Monastery, quote, lish or wrath or enclosure of the monastery, unquote, is mentioned by Adavnan. Within the circumference of the Valum were one or more smaller lisses, enclosing individual houses, such as the abbot's residence, the library, the guest house, etc., just as we find in the large lay homesteads. For instance, the Four Masters record at AD 918 that there was a great flood in the Shannon, quote, so that the water reached the lish of the abbot of Clonmacnoise, unquote. And if you were looking closely at the graphic illustrating or advertising this evening's episode, the main image is, of course, from Clonmacnoise. We are now on page 365. One for every day of the year. Sorry, must have said that wrong. It's been in the hundreds, but down to 89 in Central Texas today. We call that a cool front. Wow. I'm pretty sure that's like warmer than it would be most days in Ireland. Yeah, 31.666. Yeah. The actual erection of a monastic lish surrounding the whole settlement is recorded in an interesting passage in the life of St. Carthach of Lismore, published by the Bollandists at the 14th May. In this we are told that when the saint and his followers, after his expulsion from Rahan, arrived at this place, which had previously been called Maski, the plain of the shields, or Maiski, they began to erect a circular entrenchment. Then a certain virgin, who had a cell in the same field, came up and inquired what they were doing. And St. Carthach answered her that they were preparing to construct a little enclosure or lish around their houses and goods for the service of God. And the Holy Virgin said, quote, it will not be little, but great, unquote. Quote, the Holy Father, Mochula, i.e. Carthach, answered, truly it will be as thou sayest, thou handmaid of Christ. For from this name, the place will always be called in Scotic, Leishmore, or in Latin, Altrium Magnum, i.e. Great Lish or enclosure. Wow. Size of Texas? 296. I presume that's square kilometers. No. That's not square kilometers. What is that? Size of Texas, 696.24 K. K being what? Please fill us in, Elaine. It is highly probable that the large fort, still called Lismore, beside the Blackwater, a mile below the present town of Lismore, is the very one erected by Carthage. There are many other records of the erection of these monastic lisses or cashels, and the enclosures of several ancient monasteries, some of earth, some of stone, may still be seen in different parts of the country. The whole group of buildings constituting a monastery, including the surrounding lish, was sometimes called Congwal or Cahir, which are native Irish words, and sometimes Monaster, which is borrowed from monasterium. It often happened that a chief presented his dun or lish to the missionary who converted him, and then the church and other buildings were usually erected within the enclosure, of which Petrie gives us many instances. Do I have it, or can I put my hands on it? Above and beyond, yes, indeed. A book of essays in memory of Leo Swan. Leo Swan was a very well-known Irish archaeologist who, long before the era of drones, used to fly in an aeroplane and take aerial pictures of monuments and archaeological features, and was responsible for quite a number of discoveries. But his area of specialization were the monastic enclosures, the ecclesiastical enclosures around monasteries. And that was an area that he took particular interest in. But that's a book that was published in 2005 by Wordwell. Leo Swan was born in 1930 and passed away in the year 2001. His name still very, very, very well known, very fondly remembered by all of the archaeologists who knew him. But here's an interesting one for you, and this is totally a rabbit hole. There's an aerial picture taken by Leo Swan of Site P at Brunabonia, close in the townland of Newgrange. Newgrange being just up here out of photograph. And in the next field, the field where years later, yours truly would, with his drone, discover Dronehenge. So I'm fully convinced, of course, that the reason Leo didn't find Dronehenge was because it was never visible during his flights over Brunabonia. Simple as that. If it had been visible, he would have found it. The drought helped enormously when it finally came around. The Colorado 6 are taking it in turns to comment. Now Desiree is chirping in, chiming in. Brilliant. Tom King is, Jeannie Mac, I'm late. On Go is never late. Evening all. Yeah, no problem, Tom. Good evening to you. And thanks for gracing us with your company. Late on Goa. Time noted. Reason for being late not given. Not divulged. Your sentence is a half an hour in the penitentiary. 100 lines. I will not be late for class again. Tom, how's the form? Hope you're in good spirits. Hope you're in fine fettle. Yes. Mavanwe wants some notice next time, and she'll fly over. There you go, ladies. Started small. It'll end up being the annual meeting of the Myth Flixers. There'll be 100 people at it, and then the following year there'll be 1,000. Who knows how big it'll get? Wells. Well. Wells have at all times been held in veneration in Ireland by both pagans and Christians. And we have seen that many of the pagan Irish worshipped wells as gods. Some of these were blessed and consecrated to Christian uses by the early saints. Sorry, just taking a margin note. Of which a very interesting instance is related in Adamnon's Life of Saint Columba. Quote, another time, remaining for some days in the country of the Picts, the holy man, Columba, heard of a famous... Mavanwe's taughting, she's gone. He can't even feckin' read. Heard of a fountain famous amongst this heathen people, which foolish men, blinded by the devil, worshipped as a divinity. The pagans, seduced by these things, paid divine honor to the fountain. I always find that really funny, how, when history and, such things are written retrospectively from the viewpoint of Christianity, it's always made out that the pagans were, seduced and blinded and, taken in by the devil. But hang on a second, lads. This was before Christianity. If you had existed before Christianity, you would have done the same thing, wouldn't you? Yes. Adovnon goes on to say that after Columba had rescued it from heathenism, oh yeah, let's wrest control of that well from the heathen pagans, he blessed it, so that it was ever after revered as a holy well that healed many diseases. Oh yeah. So when the pagans go to the well, it's total heathenism, it's Satanism, and, it's bad. But when the saint comes along and goes, I now bless this well and it will produce many miracles, everything's perfectly fine. Yeah. In this manner, hundreds of the heathen wells were taken over to Christianity and sanctified by the early saints, so that they came to be even more venerated by the Christians than they had been by the pagans. Would it not make them, couldn't they have made their own wells rather than, blessing something that had been pagan? It's quite transparent, really, isn't it? That, as I've repeatedly said over the years, that, the reason Christianity flourished in Ireland was precisely because it leapt right on top of the pre-existing manners and customs and practices and said, yeah, well, I know that's pagan and heathen, but now we're going to call it Christian, so it's okay. Yet the heathen practices never quite died out, but have continued to be mixed up with Christian devotions, even down to our own day. Well, there you go. Talk about it being written in black and white. Though now devoid of their original heathen spirit and quite harmless. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. The most conspicuous of the non-Christian practices are offerings of various kinds, rags, pins, cups, etc., which may now be seen as the devotees left them at almost every holy well. And of course, that is a thing, actually, that you see at, for instance, St. Bridget's Well at Faughart in County Louth, and many other wells. Fine until the Reformation in Wales, says Mavanway. It became a crime to visit wells for a while. Wow. There's an abandoned, overgrown well called Ladywell on farmland not too far from my house. I'd love to know more about it. Sure, it's probably, you're in Balbriggan, Peter. There would be, or there certainly wasn't there, a Balbriggan Historical Society? They would have produced a journal. I'm sure there's got to be something about it out there somewhere. What's the townland, if you don't mind me sharing? If you don't, and if you do mind sharing where exactly you live, share it with me afterwards privately, and I'll look it up. Have you looked on the Historic Environment Viewer? There should be information. By and large, these things, if they're not recorded as a monument, they'll be on some of the old Ordnance Survey maps. This practice prevails still in many parts of Europe and even in Persia. I think he's particularly talking about, the leaving of items at holy wells and shrines, and the rag tree or the clootie tree, which, definitely, I think, was once a pagan custom and is barely anything but at this point. Those early Irish monasteries did not confine their line of action in this direction to wells. They took over, in like manner, forts, buildings, festivals, and observances of various kinds, and consecrated them to Christian uses, so that those pagans who became converted had the way made smooth for them, and suffered no violent wrench so far as external custom was concerned. Yeah, so I'll read that again, and it just underlines exactly what I had said. They took over, in like manner, forts, buildings, festivals, and observances of various kinds, and consecrated them to Christian uses. There you go. It is interesting to remark that in adopting this judicious line of action, the Irish missionaries only anticipated the instructions given AD 601 by Pope Gregory to the British abbot Mellitus for his guidance under similar circumstances. The Pope's words are, quote, "The temples of the idols in that nation, Britain, ought not to be destroyed, but let the idols that are in them be destroyed. Let holy water be made and sprinkled in the said temples." Made? How do you make holy water? I'll tell you how you make it. You take ordinary water and you boil the hell out of it. Bubbly bub. DU001-004 Flemington. Where is this Flemington in relation to? Yes, good. I see it. Ritual site, Holy Well. Natural spring well situated in an area of rock outcrop. Rabbit hole adjacent to farm buildings, enclosed by a recently constructed ditch and bank which was built to keep the farm animals out. Annotated Lady Well on all editions of the Ordnance Survey historic maps. Described by O'Danaher, that be Queeveen O'Danaher or Kevin Danaher, as a small pool, circa 5 foot by 3 foot, between two flat rocks in the corner of a small garden with a good spring. No devotions now, but known as a holy well. Lady Well, described in 1974 by Henry A. Wheeler as a small pool with concrete dam. Is that dam or darn? Dam. Apparently used for watering animals. Comprises a roughly circular water-filled depression. It was once a large structure, and water was channeled through the rock into a small stream. Skyvova, 2005. Who's that? Fingallian Holy Wells. Fingal County Libraries. There's a bit of more reading for you, Peter. Interesting stuff. See attached photos, of course, because of a problem with the historical environment viewer. We can't see the attached photos, but nonetheless, that is actually more information than I would have expected. Wow. So it's out the back of a farm shed, as the man says, or the woman, if you prefer. Rabbit hole needed. I'll stop following the text. Good idea. I went to school and lived in Denver before moving back to New York, says Richard. If you Colorado folk are still around, be sure to take in the first Friday art walk coming up. Always fun. There you go. Michael's well in Ballinskelligs was destroyed after a priest condemned it as a pagan well. Yeah. For if those temples are well built, it is requisite that they be converted from the worship of devils to the service of the true God, that the nation, seeing that their temples are not destroyed, may remove error from their hearts, and knowing and adoring the true God, may the more familiarly resort to places to which they have been accustomed. That sounds a little bit like sophistry, doesn't it? You know, it's like, yeah, don't destroy the pagan sites, just sprinkle holy water on them and make them Christian, so that the people who were pagans can see the error of their ways and instead worship the one true God. Sophistry, the use of clever but false arguments, especially with the intention of deceiving. It's still a pagan site. And I don't even like the use of the word pagan. Peter is sharing links to pictures of the Holy Well. Brilliant. On ducas.ie. Oh, fantastic. When was that photograph taken? Now is the next question. Does it say? It may not, but wow. Fantastic stuff. Little boy in his shorts and knee socks. Look at that at the edge of the well. Looks a bit stagnant. I'm not sure I'd drink the well water now, to be honest. Most of the early preachers of the gospel established their humble foundations, many of them destined to grow in after years into great religious and educational institutions, beside fountains, whose waters at the same time supplied the daily wants of the little communities and served for the baptism of converts. When St. Machua of Bala went to found a monastery in Chechtela, now Tehely, near Durrow in Kings County, he was obliged to give it up, as there was no well in the place. Afterwards, when he was about to settle in his final place, Bala in Mayo, His people, in the first instance, by Machua's directions, looked out for a well, but could find none, till at last a farmer of the place, showed them one, in which Machua decided to remain there. In this manner, most of our early saints became associated with wells, hundreds of which still retain the names of these holy men who converted and baptized the pagan multitudes on their margins. Simon O'Tusafar is saying hello from the Costa La Kinsale. Well, I hope it's nice down there. It's been quite grey in these parts today, and the Dubliners are telling us it's been raining. Sorry. Yes, when you're being prompted about something on WhatsApp and you can't because you're live streaming. Good to see the Catholic Church has remained consistent. We are right. You all are wrong. As I say, damned for living in the wrong time. The practice began with St. Patrick, as we see by a circumstance related in the Tripartite Life, page 93, that the saint founded a church at Schlecht in the present County Cavan, and there, to this day, is reverenced Patrick's Well, in which he baptized many. And of course, Schlecht was the location of the idol of Crom Croach, wasn't it? That Patrick took a sledgehammer to. There is a St. Kevin's Well in Glendalough that has coins or medals at the bottom. Yeah, people do that too. They throw in coins and offerings into the wells. I think the pics are from the late 50s, but I'm not 100% sure. It's just filled in with mud now. It's pretty soggy and overgrown there. A well is sometimes met with containing one lone inhabitant, a single trout or salmon, which is always to be seen swimming about it in its tiny dominion, and sometimes there are two. They are usually tame, and the people hold them in great respect and tell many wonderful legends about them. This pretty custom is of old standing, for it originated with the early Irish saints, even with St. Patrick himself. In the Tripartite Life, page 113, we are told regarding the well of Achufor, now Ahagower, in Mayo, that, quote, Patrick left 2 salmon alive in the well, unquote. The same custom prevailed in the Scottish Western Islands when Martin visited them in 1703. And need I draw attention to Return to Segish and the fact that the cover of the book features this image, which was created by Sean Fitzgerald, showing the salmon in the well of Segish, jumping up and eating one of the sacred kno or the hazelnuts dropping from one of the hazel trees, overgrowing that well. Segish, also Nectan's well, the well that gave birth to the River Boyne, where in some folklore it is said that the salmon of knowledge was born. The salmon of knowledge later caught by Finnegas and the boy Jevna on the bend of the River Boyne at Linfeach or Feach's Pool in sight of Rossnaree and Nouth and Newgrange. So the tradition, or one of the traditions of the salmon of knowledge, is that it grew up as a baby fish in the well of Segish. So it seems that that wasn't the only instance where there was a salmon or a single trout, or sometimes two, swimming in an ancient well. I took friends to our local holy well in Mid Wales last weekend. One of the friends had a drink from it before I could say stop. I wouldn't generally recommend drinking from a holy well, especially when the water runs through farmland. He seems to have survived, yeah. I had a chat with the librarian of San Francisco, as had remembered a book in reference on water and springs and holy wells. She told me that they still had it early 20th century, late from Eureka, California. John, a very good afternoon to you. Sad when ancient wells were forgotten. Yeah. Although there is a bit of a resurgence. Some very nice work has been done. There's a well, the Well of the White Cow, which was known by 7 different names apparently at the Hill of Tara, which was restored by locals there over the last 2 or 3 decades. And it's beautiful, lovely little place to spend time. Really, really gorgeous, yeah. To kill or injure these fish, these little fish, was considered an outrage bordering on sacrilege. And if they were destroyed by an enemy of the tribe, it was looked upon as an intolerable insult. Even the annalists think it worthwhile to record an occurrence of this kind. Remember that, as we've said previously on many occasions, the annals were very terse, very matter of fact, and they only just barely recorded killings and murderings and great environmental catastrophes with one sentence. So for them to comment on this is unusual. We read in Tirnach for AD 1061, i.e. during this annalist's lifetime, quote, the O'Connors invaded Munster and demolished the weir of Kincora, and they ate up the salmons that lived in the well of Kincora. And you can see also an entry for that in the Annals of the Four Masters for AD 1061. Many holy wells have the reputation of curing diseases, one for blindness, another for headache, another for jaundice, and so on through a great number of ailments. Yeah. So the fact that, as I say, that was recorded, that they ate up the salmons that lived in the well of Kincora, the annalists didn't often comment. It wasn't a commentary as such. It was a very concise or terse recording of events. In Cormac's glossary, under the explanation of the word ána, cups, singular on, a for the n, there is an interesting statement about wells, but not in connection with religion. We are told that in former times it was customary for kings to have small cups, generally of silver, beside wells for 2 purposes. To enable wayfarers to drink, and many of the wells, the sacred wells, still have metal cups or ladles hanging on a hook on the wall these days, and to test if the laws were observed, the inference being that they were if the cups were not stolen. It mentions Knockgraffan, now Knockgraffan near Cahir, the palace of Féacha Muilehan, king of Munster in the 3rd century, as one of the places where this custom was set up. Altar stone. From a very early period, it was a general rule of the church that the altar on which mass was offered should be of stone. But in case of missionary priests, it was decided that it should be sufficient to have a small altar flag, duly consecrated, laid upon the altar, of sufficient size to hold a chalice and 1 or more crosses, while the altar itself might be of wood or might consist merely of a table or such like. St. Patrick himself, as well as every missionary priest after his time, had one of these portable altar flags, which was brought about by a gillie or servant with the other things necessary for the celebration of the divine mysteries. The Irish word for an altar flag was lec, L-E-C-C, which was and is the name of any flat stone. And of course, see my chapter on the lec ben in my Mythical Ireland book. Many of these ancient little altar lecs are still to be seen in the museums, of which one is represented on previous page. All the pictures are not in this reprint of the book, funnily enough, so I cannot show it to you. Sorry, what was I doing there? I was getting distracted. That's what I was doing. Along with the altar stone, there is also given here the figure of a stone chalice of a very antique type. And now we get on to the subject of bells. A friend of mine did a book on Irish holy wells, Brendan Byrne tells us. Anna Rackard, beautiful book with many pictures of the wells. Brilliant stuff. Lovely, lovely. Kincora. I must see if I can find it on the Historic Viewer, says Peter. Ah, good call. The Irish word for a bell is clock, C-L-O-C, C-L-O-C-C, or clog, C-L-O-G, akin to the English clock. The diminutive form cluckin, or is it cluckain? C-L-U-C-C-E-N-E. Cluckeen, I would say. We would say I for the N these days. would be a small bell, is used to denote a small bell, also called lámh clog, which literally means a hand bell. St. Patrick and his disciples constantly used consecrated bells in their ministration. So if you look again at the graphic used to illustrate today's talk, the bell that is inset into the image of Clonmacnoise is St. Patrick's bell from the National Museum of Ireland, the Archaeology Museum in Kildare Street in Dublin. Yes, St. Patrick and his disciples constantly used consecrated bells in their ministrations. How numerous they were in Patrick's time, we may understand from the fact that whenever he left one of his disciples in charge of a church, he gave him a bell. Give us a bell, will you? And it is recorded that on the churches of one province alone, Connacht, he bestowed 50. To supply these, he had in his household 3 smiths. Tom King, I don't know if there's an idea forming here, whose chief occupation was to make bells. The most ancient Irish bells were quadrangular in shape, with rounded corners and made of iron, facts which we know both from the ecclesiastical literature and from the specimens that are still preserved. In the tripartite life, we are told that a certain bell called Behachan, belonging to Saint Patrick, was, quote, a little bell of iron, unquote. Clucking Biech Iern. Is that a D? Ierned. An Irish saint named Louis or Mullog founded the Church of Lismore in Scotland in the middle of the 6th century. His bell is described in the Breviary of Aberdeen, written in 1509 from some much more ancient authority, as ferium companum et quadratum, a quadrangular iron bell. And this very bell, dating from about AD 560, is still preserved and exactly answers the description, attesting the truthfulness of the old record. The little quadrangular bell that belonged to St. Gall, the Irishman who founded the Church of St. Gall in Switzerland about the year 613, remains to this day in the monastery of that city. Fascinating stuff. My uncle found a bell beside the Round Tower while digging a grave. It's now in the National Museum. Wow. Fascinating stuff, Brendan. Wow. The Bell of St. Patrick, which is more than 1,400 years old, is now in the National Museum. We mentioned that. It's in the graphic for today's episode. In Dublin. It is the oldest of all, and it may be taken as a type of the hammered iron bells. Its height is 6.5 inches, but projecting from the top is a little handle 1.25 inch high, which gives a total height of 7.75 inches. At the mouth, the 2 dimensions are 4 7/8 by 3 7/8 inches. It is made of 2 iron plates bent into shape by hammering and slightly overlapping at the edges for riveting. After the joints had been riveted, the bell was consolidated by the fusion of bronze into the joints and over the surface, probably by dipping into melted bronze, which also increased its resonance. Wow. So I went to Tom King's forge and I said to Tom, "Hey, Tom, what are you making?" He said, "I'm making a replica of St. Patrick's bell." I said, "Oh, riveting." Nora Gaffney O'Connor says, "Hello, got delayed. How are ye all? Was listening while driving there. Moncon McGann did a fab programme on wells on TG4. People were arrested and they poured holy water into the ancient wells to cure the paganism. Wow. Late, are we? Yes, but you were listening while driving. Well, just to make sure that you actually were listening, there'll be a little test at the end. So if you don't mind hanging back for a few minutes when we're finished, we'll do a little test, Nora. Tumbleweeds. Yes, indeed. Yes, another Guinness, please, says Brendan. And Anne McCallum is encouraging me, apparently. She says it's too funny. Well, I don't know. Yes, what are you making? A bell, riveting. This is the bell known as Clog an Uachta, or the Bell of the Will. So called because it was willed by the saint to one of his disciples, which is much celebrated in the lives of St. Patrick. A beautiful and costly shrine was made to cover and protect this venerable relic, by order of Donald O'Loughlin, King of Ireland, who died in 1121. And this gorgeous piece of ancient Irish art, with O'Loughlin's name and 3 others inscribed on it, is also preserved in the National Museum. A beautiful drawing of it by Miss Stokes forms the frontispiece of the 2nd volume of this book. Many others of these venerable iron bronzed bells, belonging to the primitive Irish saints, are preserved in the National and other museums, several covered with ornamental shrines. Some are called Ceolán, little musical bell, from Ceol music, and some Bernon, little gapped bell, from Bern or Bjarn, a gap, on account of a splinter knocked out of the edge, like Bernon Avon, St. Avon's little gapped bell. Wow, fascinating stuff. You brought the dad joke book with you. Let's just call a spade here. You Coloradoans who are all having your little get together, you're totally jealous because now you've just realized we forgot to bring the joke book. So now we're going to have to scroll back through Anthony's Facebook to find some funny jokes to tell each other. Now, there you go. Are they still called dad jokes if they're told by a load of ladies? Good question. About the 9th century, the Irish artificers began to make bells wholly of cast bronze. That doesn't mean it was bronze with holes in them, by the way. It's WHOLLY, meaning entirely, in case you were picturing some sort of cheese grater. A beautiful quadrangular bell of this class, made some short time before AD 900, is to be seen in the National Museum, which tells its own history in an Irish inscription, of which this is a translation. Quote, a prayer for Comascach mac Alielo. This Comascach, son of Ailiel, for whom the bell was made, was house steward of the monastery of Armagh and died AD 908. Wow. I thought it was bells, holy, of cast bronze. No, holy, oh, never mind. I'm stumbling over my words here now. Made holy. Yes, what was it exactly it said? I'm not even paying attention myself. I'll have to hold myself back for detention at this rate. 100 lines, Murphy. I must listen to the lecture attentively. I can't even find it now. Yeah, about the 9th century, the Irish artificers began to make bells wholly of cast bronze. Thank you, Marcia Downs. Been quiet for a bit, but wanted to say sláinte to you, Tom, and the Tua. Loving all you're doing, Anthony. So much work for maintaining the ancestry of Ireland. It is an absolute privilege and an honour and a pleasure, Marcia. I'm glad that you're there watching and enjoying and reading in the background. The very ancient Irish bells, whether of iron or of bronze, were small and were sounded by a clapper or tongue. I can see you are already trying to get a picture of that, like little handbell going, boing. No, not that kind of tongue. All those in the National Museum are furnished in the inside at top with a ring from which the clapper was hung, and in some the clapper still remains. Are those bells still going like the clappers? Okay. The interior ring of St. Patrick's Bell seems to be modern, no doubt replacing the original one which had worn away. It was going like the clappers, too much ringing. Occasionally we read of little bells being sounded by striking on the outside, and these probably had no tongues. Yes, and if a bell didn't ring, the saint could say, "What's wrong? Cat, get your tongue." Occasionally, yes. Concovar's royal jester, Roymage, had hanging at his side a melodious little bell, which he often struck with a bronze wand he held in his hand to procure attention. A little bit like, at a wedding or at a celebration when somebody raises a wine glass and clangs it with a spoon. It appears too that the ancient Irish saints sometimes cursed offending chieftains while sounding their bells with the tops of their croziers. But these were obviously the ordinary tongued hand bells. When bells began to be hung on the tops of buildings, round towers, or other structures, those intended for this use were made large, and the distinction appears in the literature. An ancient Brehon law commentary says, Ashtror, doorkeeper, changeable his work in ring. Ashtror, doorkeeper, comma, changeable his work in ringing the bell and opening the church, two offices usually combined in one person. High his work when it is the bell of a clughiac, or bell house, clughiac, another name for round tower. Low his work when it is a love clug or handbell, unquote. This entry shows, moreover, that the large bell was not rung by pulling at a rope or chain as at present, but the bell ringer went up and rang it by striking it directly with a hammer or mallet of some kind. Wow, fascinating stuff. That was to make sure people remained fit, having to climb up and down several stories of a round tower just to ring the bell. Bells were sometimes put, like that of Roymedge, to other uses besides ecclesiastical. It was the custom in very early times in Ireland, as it is everywhere at the present day, to suspend little tongued bells from the necks of horses and lapdogs, which kept up a perpetual tinkle. In the story of the Toynbee Frech, which we did read over a couple of episodes, can't remember when, but if you search the YouTube channel, you'll find them. We read that the horses of the young Prince Frech had each a band of silver round his neck, with a clucking oar, or little bell of gold, hanging from it. In the courtship of Ferv, the horses of the young chief Manny had little bells suspended from their necks, which, as they chimed with the horse's tread, made music as sweet as the strings of a harp struck by a master hand. And in the vision of Maconglinga, a little bell, clucking, with a metal tongue, is suspended from the monkey or neckband, M-U-N-C-I, just before anybody makes comments about animals, or neckband of a certain horse. So also with lapdogs. In the tale of Compert Mongon in Laurenhira, Book of the Dun Cow, we read of a young lady who had a diminutive white lapdog, or a meshon, with a silver chain round its neck, from which hung a little bell of gold. Clugging or. Bells were often hung round the necks of cattle, as we shall see in chapter XXIII, section 4. I took hundreds of photos in the Museum of Dublin. I'll have a look and see if there's a bell in amongst them. Yeah, every time I go, I have the camera and the phone taking as many pictures as possible. The bells used in the church service were generally open, but crotals, or small closed bells, spherical or pear-shaped, were also much in use. And for once, this picture does actually reproduce. They were surrounded by a loose little metal ball or pea, and had a small aperture in the side to let out the sound. These were probably sometimes used for horses, dogs, and cattle, as well as on the musical branch noticed further on. But on these points there is no certainty. Many very small bronze bells, both open and closed, have been found from time to time, one, for instance, in a rath, and another in the bed of a river, and that is from the Kilkenny Archaeological Journal, Volume 1 and 2, and a number are to be seen in the National Museum, among which are two diminutive open bells, each about 1 inch in height. They are, in all probability, specimens of horse and dog bells. Several of the passages and facts given here, as well as others that might be quoted or referred to, go to show that little bells were used in Ireland in pagan times. On this point, see Stokes's Life of Petrie, page 277. Petrie, George Petrie was, I think, wasn't he the one who was described as the father of Irish archaeology? When he had his meals, they used to be served to him on a Petri dish. Silent Pilgrim declares it to be a wonderful Monday evening. Yes, indeed. Brilliant. Petrie, yes. Born January 1790, died January 1866. Irish painter, musician, antiquarian, and archaeologist of the Victorian era who was instrumental, this is Wikipedia, so take it with a pinch of salt, in building the collections of the Royal Irish Academy and the National Museum of Ireland. Fantastic stuff. Yes, indeed. I saw that coming, says, you were all thinking the same thing, weren't you? As soon as I said George Petrie, you're like, Petrie, I wonder, is Anthony going to make a Petrie dish? Oh, look at the Mythical Ireland community. 6 crazy women and Anthony note the books. So are you all watching on set? Those at least 3 screens there. Wow. Look at all the ladies watching live Irish Myths. Have you got nothing? I was going to say he's got nothing better to do, but drinking Guinness, eating chips, and yeah. Do you know, that looks like great fun. I'm only sorry that I can't be there. Next week, hey? How much is a flight? Actually, Aer Lingus are flying direct from Dublin to Denver at the moment. Just saying. Yes, indeed. So if you're on Facebook, go over to the Mythical Ireland community. I'll make a funny comment. I think it's funny. Nobody else will think it's funny, undoubtedly. Oh, crap. I want chips now, says Nora. Yeah, over there they call them fries. Yes. I know you know that. Note the books. Now, oh, the books are behind you. Yeah. Do they have any interesting titles? Do they have A Social History of Ancient Ireland by P.W. Joyce? I sincerely doubt it. But I do like the fact that you're all sitting, eating and drinking, watching live Irish Myths in basically a library. I really like that. Yeah. Is there someone coming over going, shh, this is a library? A woman walked into a library and she walked up to the counter and said, "Can I get a pint of Guinness and a plate of chips, please?" And the lady behind the counter just went, "This is a library." To which the lady said, "Okay, can I get a pint of Guinness and a plate of chips, please?" Yeah. I would like to point out, says Brendan, that this was going amazingly well until Nora joined us. Oh, ouch. To which Nora replies, "I resemble that remark." Mvanwe, I'm just researching it, and it looks like a Herman Hans Grainer invented Christmas decorations in the 16th century. You never know. A medieval bell might have inspired him. I have absolutely no doubt about it. Apparently, there used to be, in ancient times, possibly pre-Christian times, there used to be horses and cows and dogs going around with bells on them, little bells ringing, you know? Ah, fantastic. Anyway, that's such a lovely picture to see. 6 crazy women and Anthony. Well, I'm there virtually. And look at the huge big screen behind you. Could you not, what's the word called? Stream to the screen. What's it called? Not project. What's it? Oh, I'm so old-fashioned. I sound like I sound like I should still be using Morse code. Oh wait, I still do use Morse code. What do you call it when you? Oh, what's the word? It's just escaping me. When you're watching a video on your phone and you want to cast it. Yes, that's the one. I knew it would happen eventually. Can you not cast the episode onto the big screen? Oh no, wait. Then you'll see all my blemishes in horrible detail. Chromecast. Yes, indeed. There you go. Best place ever, says Brendan. The Denver tour is meeting in the library room at the pub. I like it. Are there any signs up saying, "Quiet, shh, this is a library," you know? Great picture, MI Lady, says Mariana. Yes, indeed. Brilliant. So if there are any chips left over, I'm just saying, but Nora's looking for a few chips, if you don't mind. And even if you do mind, just saying, just saying. Dublin to Denver on an Airbus A330 sounds nice. Yeah. Nora says, I agree. Major FOMO. Feeling of missing out. Yeah. Well, Sinead, because the next section, to be honest, is about revenues and fees and dues and all of that stuff. Yeah, and I'm tired. I'm sorry for being tired, but yeah. So the other thing was that I was looking for ideas, and thank you to those of you who reached out. I'm still looking to try and fund a reprint of the Mythical Ireland book, which is the biggest book and the bestseller. Let's go, Anthony, Brendan, and Nora. Yeah. I'll fit in the luggage. That's one way of avoiding paying a ticket. We're in the pub library. Bring us another pint. Coming straight up, ladies. Mind you, if it's a pint of Guinness, just to be aware that it takes at least 6 or 7 minutes for the pint to be poured and settled properly. So if the bartender tries to give you a pint of Guinness within 5 minutes of ordering it, it won't be good. Leave it for another couple of minutes, You can only use sign language to order the Guinness. Oh, I can imagine that. The bells, Esmeralda, says Nora. The bells of Notre Dame. Da, 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 da. Yeah. So, yeah, still looking for crazy ideas to try and keep Mythical Ireland in print. Oh, the challenges of being a small independent author, I'll tell you. But there you go. Anyway, thanks to those of you who have ordered Land of the Ever-Living Ones. I will keep the patrons, of course, and the social media updated as it goes to print. I'm hoping that it will go to print tomorrow. And turnaround time for these things is usually a week to 10 days. So if you have ordered a copy or pre-ordered a copy of Land of the Ever-Living Ones, you will get a notification when it is dispatched. And if you're outside of Ireland, that notification will have a tracking code in it, which you can use to track the whereabouts of the item. Delighted that... So I'm just pasting the link where you can pre-order your Land of the Ever-Living Ones. Delighted to see so many of you posting pictures of your Fornox book. And glad to see that it has literally gone around the world. One of our viewers from Sydney, Australia, posted a picture of it in the Bay Area. Is that what you call the Bay Area? The Sydney Opera House was not in the picture. But it was quite obvious that it was Sydney. Was that on our own or was that on the Mythical? Lots of you posting that on the Mythical Ireland community. Don't forget, of course, that book still for sale. So if you haven't yet ordered a copy, Fornox monograph, which has already gone around the world to lots of different places, you can order it now for immediate dispatch. Usually orders on the website dispatched within 24 hours, except for at the weekend when we've no postal service in operation. So if you order on a Saturday or Sunday, they'll be sent out on Monday. Extra chips. Barbara Murphy just sharing a picture on the Mythical Ireland community, especially for Nora Gaffney O'Connor. And it has the caption, extra chips. Wow. Extra chips and Guinness. Wow. Fornox is a gorgeous book. Do order. Thank you, Lexi. You're so good. I really would love to be a fly on the wall. You six should do a quick live stream now when we're finished. You should live stream to the Mythical Ireland community and say a quick hello. You definitely should do that, Okay, Mariana, take it easy. We'll see you next week, hopefully. I need to order. I'm a bit behind with everything. Oh, I know. I have a whole library of unread books or partly read books. Yes. Yes, hooray, says Nora. Is that to the chips? I take it that's to the chips. You certainly weren't saying hooray to any of my terrible jokes. Wait, you're giving away my chips, says Desiree. Yeah. What are the little, are they chicken tenders or chicken nuggets or chicken, are they batter covered shrimps or what are they? So there's more than just chips in that tray, Barbara Murphy. I demand a full and thorough explanation. Anyway, that's brilliant. Great fun. And yeah, I hope that not only are you drinking and feeding well, but that the weather is nice in Colorado at the moment and not too cold or anything like that. Shrimps and chips. There you go. I had a feeling it was shrimps just from the shape of them. Good night, Brendan, and thank you for the story about your, was it your uncle who found the bell? Brilliant stuff. Fascinating. It's all around us, isn't it? It's all around us. History and archaeology in every field. Anthony, keep us posted on how everything is going. I will do. Might have to run another GoFundMe, but as I said to a couple of the patrons, I don't like doing that, having already done one this year. You know, but if we can find another way of doing it, we will. But it is a bit of a what we call a challenge and an opportunity. In every challenge, there lies an opportunity. The opportunity is to keep the best-selling of all my books in print and to a good quality. But we'll get there, I'm sure. Fun episode. Well, as I always say, the solemn duty, or one of the solemn duties of the Shanachie, is to entertain and make sure that people remember the episodes and remember the stories. Because if it was a lecture and it was boring and monotone, you'd all be asleep and you wouldn't be coming back every week. Mythical Ireland is a fantastic book, says Nora. Well, thank you, Nora. Let's see what we can do to try and keep it in print. I would very much like that. But anyway, as they say in ham radio, 7-3. Desiree had shrimp and chips. Karen Faye O'Loughlin had fish and chips. Lexi had a boring salad. What kind of salad is that? Is that goat's cheese? Is it? The rest of us had shepherd's pie. Very nice. Well, whatever you're having yourself, as they say, you know. I can see it in my bookcase from here. I agree, says Mavanwi. Well, I'm glad you all enjoyed yourselves. Please do come back next week for more. Don't forget, if you're not already on the email newsletter, do subscribe at the link that I'm just sharing now. It's free and maximum 2 emails a week. Some weeks only 1. The last email was a very, very detailed, long and detailed email about the most illustrious of the High Kings of Tara, Cormac MacArt. A 2,500 word email. Wow. So become a Mythical Ireland insider by signing up to the email newsletter. That is the link. And if you'd like to, of course, most importantly, I think one of the most important things you can do, apart from buying the books and the calendar and photographic prints and all of that stuff, is to become a patron. And the details of that are constantly scrolling at the bottom of the screen on every episode. Would love to have you on board as a patron. Patrons get early and exclusive access to pictures and blog posts and articles and videos and podcasts and all sorts of stuff and news announcements. So it'll be worth your while, basically. And if you're considering becoming a patron, my advice is to sign up at the Bronze Age level or above, because that will give you the best value, of all of the levels. Well, it'll give you the best value of the lower levels, shall we say. Ladies, enjoy yourselves. I hope that you have a fab time together. I'm not sure if you're just spending the day together or if this is going to turn into a multi-day affair with shopping trips, booze-ups, and maybe some arrests. Wouldn't put it past you all, to be honest, looking at that picture. I'm totally joking right now, of course. Have a brilliant time. And, someday, someday there'll be a huge get-together of Mythflix Tua, either on this side of the Atlantic or on that one, and we'll have an in-person episode. Well, streaming for those who can't make it, but yes, indeed. Kelly Nikiali, Gura Mahagut. I didn't see you there, Kelly. Glad to have you on board. And hello to all our friends in the PNW. Good night, all. Lovely to be here amongst the crazy and fascinating, all mixed up together. Well, thank you. I'm definitely the fascinating one. I'm definitely not the crazy one. Yes, indeed. Oh, that was fun. I'm off for some chips now, says Tom. Well, and if they go cold, Tom, on the way back from the chipper, you can heat them up over the forge, you know. Have a lovely rest of the day, Eve, Colorado, Tua. And have a grand rest of the week all. Looking forward to a meet up soon. We still need to get to Tory Island, Nora. Oh, yeah, Tory. Yes. With advance notice, please, says Kelly. Yeah, exactly. Yes. To allow us all to be there. Something about the correct ratio. Barbara is saying to Brendan. What did Brendan say about the ratio? I missed that. I can't see it now. Boring salad and 10 Guinness. Yeah. Brilliant. Nothing boring about a salad which has 10 Guinnesses on the side. Yes. It's a holiday, Labor Day here. I'll have the Irish built US. I will have a pint to toast you, says John Inman. It was wonderful today. Says Lexi, you're having a great time here watching the live stream. Yes, we are having a grand time, says Karen. Yes, I have absolutely no doubt that you are. As I said, the faces of you, like 6 expectant schoolgirls getting together after the holidays, to tell all about what has been going on for months. I can just imagine. There you go. Anyway, have a great evening. Have a great afternoon. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Do tune in again next week for 293. Wow, we're not far off 300. We'll have to do something big to celebrate that. We did say that. Not another quiz, Anthony. The last quiz, you made it too hard. Something maybe a bit more fun. Maybe what we should do is actually set up in a pub somewhere. I'll do an in-person live stream. So those of you who are able to make it can have Guinness and chips and boring salad. And those of you who are unable to make it can watch. But there'll be live interaction. And I'll actually be able to see the latecomers and take their names in the red book. They won't be able to say sneaking in late, or they won't be able to say, oh, well, I was already here, but I just didn't announce myself, because we'll be able to see them coming into the room. That'll be hilarious. So there you go. There's a plan. 300th episode, live streamed from a pub here, somewhere in the Boyne Valley, or from someone's house or something, but preferably in a pub. And we'll do a live stream and we'll drink some pints and eat some chips. Yay! Who's with me? Yay! 3 cheers for Midflix in the pub. Oh, give me notice of the date. I can jump on the ferry at Holyhead. Yep. Given that it's the 2nd of September and this is 292, that would be in 8 episodes time if we were to have one a week. That's 4 will bring us to the 30th of September, and another 4. That would be the last Monday in October, Monday the 28th of October. Yeah, so around that time, maybe. Let's think about that. Let's make that happen. From the Forge, yeah, we could do that. The only difficulty is we tried to live stream from the Forge before and we couldn't. The coverage isn't good enough. Yeah, says Lexi. Somebody take that Guinness away from her. I'm joking. I'll pick you up, Mavanray, says Tom. And he literally will pick you up in the air because he's a big, strong man. Only if there's stories and trad music, says Brendan. Well, we could bring some instruments. There you go. It would turn into Session more. Oh, my God. Yes, says Nora. I'm telling you, there's a load of them in. Let's make it happen. Anyway, lots to talk about. In the meantime, good evening from the Boyne Valley, where, although it has been a cloudy day, it is at least dry and mild, and there is a promise of some nice weather. Saskia's barking. She's looking to get in. I'm going to let her in. I'm going to put the bins out for tomorrow, do me few chores. But all that it remains for me to do at this point in time is to say, Ichawa Kulasov, Slán go fóil agus tó go bugé. Take it easy, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.